Hello, and welcome back to Whysosidious, a nerd podcast, where we travel from a galaxy far, far away on the back of Vagar to Driftmark, breaking down and discussing all of our favorite nerd properties. I'm your host, David Cochran, and here with me tonight is Caleb Culver. Tonight, we are going to be covering the 7th episode of the Game of Thrones prequel series, House of the Dragon. This episode is titled Driftmark and was directed by Miguel Sapochnik yet again. This is his 4th episode, I believe, so far this season. Third episode.
Yeah,
third or fourth.
Yeah, I think he did 1, 6, and 7, but he's doing the finale too, I think.
Okay, there we go. Good. I'm down for a Miguel finale. Episode was written by Kevin Lau, who has been a writer on Lovecraft Country, Made in China, and Westworld, and this is his first episode that he has been on.
Westworld.
Pretty good debut there. Yeah. Westworld. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Lovecraft Country. Gosh, that's a hard title to say. Lovecraft Country, but I've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm. Right. I watched the first couple episodes, and then I think I canceled HBO Max for a little bit.
Oh,
so I couldn't watch it anymore. Yeah, this was obviously like 2 years ago or so. I don't know what happened, but yeah. But obviously I resubscribed and I've never looked back since. It's like my favorite streaming service out of all of them.
I was going to say, I remember you saying it was your top one, though.
Right.
All right, before we get started, we'd love if you followed us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at whysosidiouspod. We're posting news, show info, polls, video edits, and more every day. Would love to have you there interacting with us, and giving us some episode requests for once we get out of this crazy mayhem of a content schedule we're in now. We'll have a little bit more wiggle room to do more creative episodes, and we'd love some input. Some upcoming programming reminders. We have Andor Episode 5 coverage coming up, along with the highly anticipated penultimate episode of The Rings of Power. Can't wait for that one. Dude, did you end up watching the Black Panther trailer? It came out yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what'd you think?
I don't think it was as great as the first one, but it did show. Well, I just like the music in the first one was amazing.
That's fair.
But it definitely showed more about the plot of the movie and things that are going to be happening, which I liked.
Right. You want to give us a little rundown on what we got shown there yesterday?
Yeah. So basically, it opens up with the shot of T'Challa's funeral. So we're gonna be getting ready for some tears in the theater. I love the song they're playing. You can hear they're beating the drums, the dance moves and stuff. It's gonna be really cool to see. Then we get a beautiful shot of Atlantis and Namor descending to his throne, which I really loved, like floating down in the water. I guess he's the first flying mutant in the MCU.
Okay. I don't think I was aware of that. All right.
A cool scene with M'Baku, and he's saying, the feathered serpent. Killing him will bring eternal war. And then another dope shot of the Dora Milaje in action.
Yeah.
Then we see Wakanda flooding and Namor attacking. Pretty cool moves. He's like doing some Star-Lord, jumping on the different, skipping back and forth in the air.
That was hella cool. Yeah.
Riri building the Ironheart suit, which was so sick, and then seeing her like get in it and fly. Looks like a Hulk armor almost, or in between Iron Man and Hulkbuster.
Right. It's a little
big.
bulky, but we get that classic iconic shot of her inside the suit, I believe. Didn't we get that in the trailer?
Right. Yeah, she's looking up at the stars.
Yeah.
And then for the final shot, we do see Shuri standing in, it was another beautiful shot with all the flames and fire around her as she's standing in the middle with some water too. Mm-hmm. And then we get the new Black Panther diving down, and she stands up. I mean, it seems like it's almost confirming that Shuri is the next Black Panther.
Oh, yeah. You can see the gauntlets on the suit that Shuri... not the gauntlets actually on there. The headdress stuff. She's got
from
the same
Infinity
exact.
War.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. She had those gauntlets in Infinity War, and then during the Black Panther movie, or was it during one of these trailers? She's got the whatever it is, the artwork on her forehead and her
For the
cheekbones
funeral.
and everything. Right, that's what it is. So it is this trailer, and that's on the suit there. It's the same exact pattern. So it's definitely Shuri, which I think we all kind of came to the conclusion of already.
Right.
What do you think of the suit?
It looks sick. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell it's a little feminine, but still badass at the same time.
Yeah.
And a couple little upgrades, you know.
Uh-huh. Well, and she took the gold from Killmonger, which I loved Killmonger's suit like a lot from the first one. So it's got that gold touches to it that I really like. Yeah, dude, the Namor thing. I really didn't know how that was going to work. Again, I didn't even know for the longest time that he had wings attached to his feet. Like, so I really didn't know how they were going to play this one out, but it actually looked good. Like, those tiny little goofy ankle wings flapping around while he's flying, but it actually looks good. It doesn't look corny at all. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about that.
And I am wondering how this will tie into the bigger story, you know, because it's not, it won't be just contained. There will be something else out there. And I'm wondering, and I'm kind of conflicted about Namor. Like, do I want him to be a villain, or will I be okay when most likely he changes his mind and like teams up with Shuri, you know? Because that's like 90% of what happens in Marvel.
Right.
With the gray characters.
The actor already kind of spoiled it, but he already said, he's like, my character isn't a villain. It's like, oh. Okay. 'Cause he said something
but
about,
maybe
you know,
that's his point of view.
Yeah, no,
He
that's a
doesn't
good
think
point.
he's a villain. Yeah.
Right. He's got a good motive. He said Latin Americans always are the villains in roles like this. Like, they're always the mustache twirling villains and stuff. And this isn't the case with his character and a few other things about it. But yeah, I think he'll be exactly like you said. I think he's going to start off as a villain towards Wakanda, but he's going to have good motives that the audience is going to understand. And eventually he'll, join up with them or at least come to peace.
They'll finally have that 10-second conversation and, you know, settle their differences.
Right. Yes. That's super quick.
Just
super
talk
quick
to
turn.
each other, please.
Yeah. Do a quick 180. Now they're on the same side. Cool. Well, unfortunately,
it comes out just about 1 month. So this is our next big movie we will be covering. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's the start. Black Adam comes
11/11?
out right before that.
Oh,
11/11. Okay. Because
that's
we got
right.
Black Adam like October 27th or something like that. The last week of October, I believe. But yeah, we got a couple big ones that we get to cover, which is great because we have nothing to cover right now. You know, there's absolutely no content to cover at the current moment, so we really need a couple extra movies.
I wonder how Black Panther is going to cut off Black Adam at the movie theaters, because they only get that 2-week window, and then everyone's going to be seeing Black Panther after that.
Yeah, they should have pushed their release date forward, because that's definitely going to take a bite out of their budget. Well, unfortunately, since JD is out tonight, we're going to have to get his thoughts on the trailer during our Rings of Power episode right before, because I'm very interested to see what he thought about it all. He's unable to be with us tonight. Yeah, Namor especially. Yeah, so we'll have to reconvene on the topic. Big Namor guy. All right, well, here's your spoiler warning. We're about to head into the main topic we are covering, which is the 7th episode of House of the Dragon. So again, this is your last chance. Get out now. Go. Run away. Or, deal with the consequences. You've been warned. So with all that being said, let's get into the episode. And just remember, Caleb, history does not remember blood. It remembers names.
Okay, Tywin.
So I'm going to get into the summary, but real quick, this was actually the first week of shooting as a whole for this show. This episode right here, all the shots we see, this is the first time the cast interacted with each other on screen. So something to keep in mind. Kind of adds to that funeral scene.
They made him go all out.
Yeah. Pretty intense first episode, first day of shooting and stuff. At least the funeral was the first day of shooting, but I would imagine they did it all. But all right. So we start off the funeral of Lena Valerian, and we get a big reunion of everyone, including Otto Hightower, who is back as the Hand of the King, and Loras Strong as the new Lord of Harrenhal, and a free-for-all of yet again horrible-looking wigs sported by a number of different Valerians. Scene is full of angry looks, drinking, and bitterness all around. We get conversations between key characters discussing future plans, throne rights, and marriage arrangements. Later, Rhaenyra and Daemon rekindle their relationship on the beach while Aemon makes the ballsy move of approaching Vhagar in order to bond with her, to which he somehow does. This leads to a fight between the Targaryen and Valyrian children, resulting in accusations of bloodlines and Aemon losing an eye. This takes us to the throne room where the parents of all these children fight it out, and eventually Alicent loses it and orders Sir Criston to take a child's eye from his skull. Rhaenyra steps in and Alicent cuts Rhaenyra with the cat's paw dagger. Viserys does his best to squash the beef, but just like his hair, he has lost control. Tensions are high. Later, we see Rhaenyra telling Daemon she wishes to wed him in order to fight this civil war, leading to the apparent death of Laenor and another lost child for Corlys and Rhaenys. The Greens have gained the most legendary dragon, the Blacks have gained the might of Daemon Targaryen and possibly the Valyrians, and the pieces are set on the board for an explosive end to this season. Crazy episode. Definitely a crazy episode. Probably, again, I don't know. I don't know if it was my favorite or not. But really crazy episode. Lot of stuff happening. Definitely strong Game of Thrones vibes throughout this whole episode. One thing I noticed with this episode real quick was the cinematography and the camera work that they chose to do in this episode. So it's became, which I kind of figured it would, but it's blown up a lot today. A lot of people are pissed off about the lighting again, which we go back to the classic The Long Night episode of Game of Thrones Season 8, where you couldn't really see anything. And so if you go onto social media, there's a lot of people on there complaining about not being able to see the episode. Oh, yeah. Like a lot of people complaining about they weren't able to see the episode and a few things, which it all depends on your situation.
Let me say one thing.
Turn off the lights.
Buy a better TV.
Yeah, I
saw everything just fine.
Yeah,
for the night scenes, like when there was a night at the funeral, it was fine. It was night. I thought it was like pretty light for night. You know,
really?
It was fine for
okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that. I could tell immediately. They just did a totally different style. Usually when you shoot nighttime, they have artificial lights on all the characters so you can see them. They did a totally different style, which I kind of liked. And so I watched it in my living room with the lights off, so I didn't have a problem. I saw everything. But I could tell. I was like, it's pretty dark. But it wasn't like, dude, I can't see. This is annoying. Anything like that. It was an interesting choice. I've never seen a show or a movie do this. So the funeral was sunny when we started out. And as it progressively got later in the evening, they just didn't change anything. They let the tone of the sun. They even had a few camera shots of the sun setting behind the castle, and it blocks the sun out. Like they kept showing that. And as it's progressively going, every minute that passes, it's getting a little bit darker, which was kind of a cool way to do it. It kind of puts you in that setting. Like it felt like you were kind of in there, and the tensions were obviously very tight and everything. So it was just a really interesting style to kind of set this mood for this scene in the episode as a whole. And I kind of thought it was creative. So I didn't mind it, but I did notice. I was like, okay, so they're not using artificial light really on these characters. They're just kind of going by moonlight, maybe like the actual, I don't know, or just really dim lighting. But I kind of liked it. But yeah, I woke up this morning and was seeing all these people, and one of my buddies sent me a text like, I'm so sick of too dark of, Game of Thrones episodes. I was like, oh, I kind of liked it. But I will say, I went to rewatch it on my phone today on my lunch. Couldn't see anything. But I'm in a truck and I'm on my phone, but the only thing with the Aemon and Vhagar scene I could see was Aemon's blonde hair. Like I could not see anything else. But again, in my living room TV, it was fine. But yeah, on my phone in a truck during the daytime, yes, it was hard. But at my house, in my living room, lights off, I didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, another lighting controversy for Game of Thrones.
For Miguel.
Oh no! It was Miguel.
But honestly,
he said, "I don't care. You're gonna do it again."
We know that he's stepping down as showrunner, but I really hope he comes back to keep directing episodes. Because his episodes, by far, he did 1, 6, and 7. Those have been the best, top 3 out of the 4, episodes in the whole season.
Yeah,
and
also, good point.
And when it talks about his directing style, that reminded me when the scene later when they're all confronting each other, how he cuts to each character, and it just shows their facial expression, how they're reacting to the scene, like Damon and Otto and Sir Kristen, how they're all just, Otto's like creeping around the corner, and he's like, they called us bastards, and he's like, what's the king gonna say to this? And then Damon's over in the corner just eating popcorn, like enjoying everything that's going on. But he makes sure to like show, and Corliss too. It shows Corliss a couple times, so it was really cool, that directing style.
No, you're absolutely right. They did it in such a way. It was almost perfect. It was almost like every time somebody said something, the audience is thinking, I wonder what that dude thinks about. Oh, there's his reaction to it right there.
Right.
I forgot when they even asked Rhaenyra, where's your husband? She was like, sleep evaded me. I went for a walk, and it shows Daemon right after she says that. But yeah, they did a great job with that. And they did a great job at the funeral with the awkwardness. There wasn't much dialogue at the funeral at all. But holy crap, the amount of awkwardness between Rhaenyra making eye contact with Alicent and Kristen when she first walks into it. And then Rhaenyra making eye contact with Daemon, and Daemon kind of giving a little smirk. King makes eye contact with Daemon, which leads to an awkward encounter. There were multiple other things. Even the kids. Aemon, he walked up to kind of give sympathy to Jacaerys, and kind of stared at him from across the fire and gave him like a little smile, and Jacaerys just stared at him, and Aemon defeatedly dropped his head and walked off. But there was just so many scenes like that where there was no dialogue, but man, you felt the awkwardness.
Right. Even when Rhaenys came up to comfort her granddaughter, she doesn't even like notice or acknowledge Jacaerys at all.
Yep.
And they were kind of holding hands for a sec. Which,
because they're betrothed.
Are they?
That's what.
They are. Okay, because I didn't want to spoil it, because I know that they are.
Okay. No, yeah, they mentioned, Rhaenyra mentioned it. No, Rhaenyra didn't mention it. It got brought up with Rhaenys later, because Corlys came over and he's like, you're gonna inherit yada yada. Shoot, I forget now. Maybe they didn't say it specifically, and I just got that vibe. I'm trying to recall the exact time. But anyway, do you know what the name of that daughter is? Yeah, well, now, I guess. Is that Baela, or is
the one with the dragon?
Rhaena?
Is Baela has the dragon?
Okay, so I think that was Baela then. I don't know. Names confusing.
They're twins.
They're twins, so it's whatever. Yeah, she walked right past Jacaerys and, started comforting her grandkids. And she walked right past Rhaenyra, and they didn't say a word to each other either.
Right.
Which you find out. I mean, you didn't really think about the whole, bastard situation in regards to Rhaenys' feelings, or at least I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty disrespectful. Disrespectful. It's obviously not their kids. Corlys is obviously in denial, which Rhaenys... she's like, there's nobody here. Let's just be frank. They are not of your blood. And he gets like this defeated look on his face. It's like, oh, he's been in denial about it the whole time. Like,
right. Because he just wants a path to the throne. He knows just saying that they're, his grandkids, it's easier power for him. Going against it creates conflict.
Right.
But when it comes to, back to the betrothals and the kids in that first opening scene with Helena. And then, I guess Aegon and Helena are betrothed as well. Because he says she will be your queen one day.
Yes.
And, and he's like, she's gross. She likes bugs. And Aemon gets it. Like, he's a true Targaryen, and he'd be like, I take her as my queen. It would strengthen the bloodline.
Yeah.
And we don't know this they don't show it, but Helena rides Maegor the Cruel's wife's dragon, Dreamfire.
Aegon does? Maegor the Cruel's wife?
No,
is that what you said?
Helena.
She rides sister. Dreamfire?
Yes. And also, you were right. I was wrong about last episode. She did. So we might think she's a dreamer.
She's got the sight.
She did say she was...
Yeah.
She was talking about Aemon last episode. I was wrong.
Okay.
She said he needs to close an eye.
Yeah. She said
So she basically predicted. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's
she's
cool
got the sight.
Viserys is like Viserys is obsessed with that. You know, because he never was a dreamer. And, you know, his daughter's one.
Good call.
So I hope we get, like, an interaction. I feel like we won't, though, before.
Yeah, he probably going to die.
Passes on.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. He was obsessed with that, and he actually got a daughter who appears to be a green seer, or whatever you would call it. She's pretty weird, man. She's pretty weird. She's got that spider crawling around her hand, and she keeps repeating the phrase, dragons of... Crap, I forgot what she was saying, but basically...
It was weird, though.
It's almost like a nod towards Rhaenyra and Daemon getting married later. It was like dragons weave something, dragon... I forget what she was saying, but... Yeah, she's a weird chick.
Like she's
I gotta
haunted
say...
with these dreams.
Yeah, apparently, because she seems obsessed constantly, and she doesn't talk to anybody else. She's just looking at insects and reciting visions she's had, apparently.
Tough world.
Their children are freaks. Like, okay, Aemond. Now he's smart, like you said. Like he's got it. He's wise beyond years already. And he was totally fine. He was trying to be a good cousin until he rides Vhagar, and then he turns into kind of a cocky asshole right when he gets off the dragon. He comes in, he's like, "Your mother's dead. Vhagar's mine." It's like, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah,
but all in all,
I was rooting for him. I was like, yeah, this guy's dope. And then he comes back, and I'm like, oh, shit, never mind.
Yeah, and then he pulled that, and I was like, oh, yeah, thought you were one of the good ones. But he's better than Aegon, man. I don't know. I know you were saying that Aegon was looking like a good king last episode. But after the whole Homelander
he has the
thing,
looks.
He's got the looks, right.
The looks.
Well, after the Homelander thing, and then now he's getting hammered as like a 12-year-old and is talking trash about his sister and saying the thing about the long legs and everything. Wench walks off and gets hammered even more. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Their kids have some issues.
Yeah. There's some daddy issues, probably.
Did you see the 5 dragons at the start of the funeral, though?
I missed
like
that.
A couple of them were flying around, but 3 of them were landed on the stone. So we got 5 total dragons in one shot, which is the most we've gotten so far. So obviously, Cyrax, I would imagine, is there.
Right.
Caraxes, Dreamfire, Vhagar, and then Sea Smoke, probably, right?
Well, Vhagar wasn't one of them. So
yeah. Yeah, okay.
So it was Dreamfire.
Dreamfire, Caraxes, Cyrax, Sea Smoke, but we're missing one.
Rhaenys's dragon? Or...
Yeah, Rhaenys's dragon? Yeah, what's Rhaenys's dragon's name?
Oh, God, I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, we got 5 dragons, so we're getting closer and closer. Add Vhagar in, now we got 6.
Because for the green side, it's just the 3 kids, right?
Right.
So the 3 kids have a
dragon.
Viserys
doesn't have anything.
Right, and that there's no other Targaryens. And then on the black side, it's Daemon, Rhaenyra, Rhaenys, and then Sea Smoke is riderless at the moment.
Well, what about Daemon's daughter? Who does she have?
Right, she has a dragon.
She's got a dragon.
Correct. I don't know the name of that one.
Hey, real quick, let's just cover this right now. So Laenor is not dead.
Right.
I didn't catch that. The episode ended, and I looked at Megan, and I was like, that's the weirdest way to end an episode. We left off with Carl paddling on a boat. Like, I didn't realize that was Laenor. Like, I did not realize that. So they faked his death somehow, but...
They definitely fooled me, because it was so obvious, but because they, pull out their swords and start to fight each other. Over something, and they want the little boy to be the witness.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seemed totally set up. I just figured it was Carl making sure it was set up because, Daemon told him, he's like, make sure they're witnesses, make sure it's seen,
Right. But this is a slight change from the books.
Okay.
So in the books, there were a couple different accounts of, he left, or they thought that Carl killed him because he got jealous, or he found a new lover and didn't want to be with Laenor anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But Mushroom, one of the best characters from Fire and Blood, who tells the most vile accounts of what happened,
right,
says that Daemon paid Carl to kill Laenor and dispose of him, and then he had a ship waiting for him, and he cut his throat and threw him into the sea.
Classic.
So in the books, Laenor's dead.
Okay.
They didn't keep him alive in the book, so this is kind of a new thing where we can kind of theorize and wonder, is he going to come back, or is he gone, just hanging out, and fighting pirates, going to Pentos for the rest of the show.
I feel like it would be dope to see him come back on the back of Sea Smoke and help when the tides are kind of going against their side. He's got a freaking dragon, bro. You're kind of an important piece to this war.
But I don't think he took Sea Smoke with him. I think he had to leave the dragon behind,
Right. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been.
I feel like one of his daughters might ride it. That would make the most sense.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel the rider has to die, so if he's alive, I don't know how that works exactly.
Would the dragon be able to tell?
I think the dragon can
still
tell.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're smart.
I don't know about
says
that though. But there's an open dragon.
Female. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
So could be Daemon's daughter. She needs one. Speaking of Daemon, so man, we talked last episode about how I thought that the girls would take the brunt of this loss because their father wouldn't be very comforting to them, unfortunately, because he's not ever used to being in this position. And we saw the brief interaction he had with them at the end of last episode where he kind of gives the awkward hand on the shoulder and then just walks off. Boy, was I right about that, because he didn't have a single interaction with his daughters in this entire episode. They were over there sobbing, and Daemon was on the opposite side of the funeral, just sitting there looking over the sea. Rhaenys came up to them and comforted them. He never went up. And then they got assaulted by Aemond, and that entire fight between everybody and the arguments and everything is going on, and Daemon's just chilling. He didn't care at all. His daughters are the one who got beat up. He didn't say a word. He laughed at one point about something, and the only time he stepped in was when Kristen stepped up and started going towards Rhaenyra and Alicent. He didn't say a word. That's your daughters. This whole argument is about your daughters and your wife's dragon, and you didn't say a single thing. So, tough look for my guy Daemon, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the laughing at the funeral didn't help.
Yeah, laughing about the bloodlines.
Which it is kind of funny. Yeah, he says salt courses through our blood and ours runs thick. We can never let it thin. Daemon looks at him first and then laughs because, well, your blood, yeah, A, it's already gotten mixed. B, Laenor's kids aren't even his blood at all.
And we have a half Hightowers.
Yeah. So, but still, man, come on, keep it together, Daemon. Good Lord.
And the conversation with Viserys. Viserys is just wants his last few days. I feel so bad from these last couple episodes. He wants just to make peace, but things are just so far gone. Viserys can't make peace anymore. And Daemon just says, it seems the gods have been especially cruel to you.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
He's trying to make peace. And Viserys just wore it, kind of chuckled. Yes, they have. Thanks for reminding me of that, bro. But I mean, Daemon's pissed. He's pissed, man. Yeah. He's still obviously bitter about him being removed as heir, And Viserys says, there's a spot at the table. Shall you need it? He's like, I don't need anything from you, and gets pissed off and walks off. Right. But it's he's still hurt from that.
And he banished him twice.
Yeah. It's tough to come back from 2 banishments, I guess. And then Viserys on his way out just calls Alicent Emma.
Oh, jeez.
My man is slipping up.
And she's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then Daemon gives a little fuck you Otto on the way out too, like that.
Yep. No matter how fat the leech gets, he'll always eat.
So one more.
She said something more.
Yeah. Huh. Another book reference. So it says that Viserys did consider Rhaenyra or Daemon to be hand before he brought Otto back, but he thought that it was a whole different order of events, because he thought that bringing Rhaenyra and her kids back to King's Landing would create more conflict. So he thought they were just better over on Dragonstone by themselves. And then he also thought with Daemon, that's just too crazy of a choice. So, okay, I just got to bring Otto back.
That's wild. I mean, I guess I get it, but the thing still stands for why he got rid of Otto in the first place. You said you couldn't trust his decisions anymore. Just because Lionel died doesn't mean you can all of a sudden trust his decisions again now. Like, but I mean, he's obviously very old. He's not really thinking at the top of his game right now. And it was probably the comforting choice because he's used to Otto, and things were good back when Otto was the hand, and things have been awful lately. So I can sympathize with the decision, I guess. Last thing about the funeral, bro, those wigs are horrible. They're getting worse. Corliss's wig.
I stopped noticing them.
Oh, I did too until Corliss, dude. It was awful. It was legitimately just a mop, and it wasn't even like held together. Like there were loose strands everywhere, and it was just like my goodness.
It's rough out there for Corliss.
It is rough out there if you are a Valerian. Get no respect.
That's why Laenor shaved it all off. He was tired of those wigs.
Smart man. All right, so like we said, the funeral ends, the lighting starts getting darker. Daemon and Rhaenyra have a conversation about not believing that Alicent would commit murder, which is hilarious because in a couple of hours she's about to demand your son's eye gets ripped out of his skull in front of you. But so maybe she might be capable. Even though it wasn't her plan, it was Larys. She wasn't the one who decided for that to happen. But she was complicit.
I don't know if she is capable. I don't know if she's capable of murder. In the first degree, maybe she'll have other people do it for her, though. She
kind of tried to murder Alicent or Rhaenyra right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe she just had no intention of finishing the act, and she was just so pissed she had to. I don't know. She looked pretty ready to stab somebody in the face, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing that led to that, we get Aemon sneaking out down the same staircase that Aegon was passed out drunk and got kicked by Otto and pulled up to his room. Aemon sneaks down the stairs across the beach in the dead of night to a sleeping Vhagar, bro. And my goodness, get this kid a wheelbarrow because the balls on this kid are massive. Like, what in the world is he doing? Just goes straight up to the largest, most deadliest legendary dragon in the world and tries to climb it. Just goes for it, which I respect it. Just cut to the chase. You're going to die or you're not. You might as well try right now. Oh my gosh. And, Vhagar goes to light him on fire and he says that Doharis Vhagar, which I guess I had to look it up, but it's serve.
Okay.
And then the other word he says is calm, the Lakiri.
Okay.
So this 8-year-old, 9-year-old came up to this monster dragon and straight up said, calm down and serve me, essentially, to it. And it worked. So we that flight scene, bro, that was a dope scene.
Oh my gosh.
That was really cool.
Well, Vhagar put him through the test first. She was like, all right, you want to be my dragon? She first, once he gets on, she, shakes her back and forth. Hang on. And then once she flies straight up into the air as high as she can and then just straight back down. And it was so funny how he's just screaming the entire time. And then he finally gets a hang of it and starts kind of controlling her and turning her right and left. And they're flying over the sea. Oh, it was an amazing scene.
Beautiful. And I think the lighting really did a favor to this scene because let's be honest, you take away bright lights and the dragons look a lot more realistic. They look really good because there's less lighting to shine light on, CGI aspects of it. It looked freaking amazing. And they do such a good job at having Vhagar diving down that fast, but you sense how big she is when she skims the ground and you feel that shaking of the ground. Again, I talked about it last episode about how in awe I am of the size of Vhagar, but man, they've done such a cool job with it.
And you kind of got a classic score of Dany when she'd ride Drogon with a little twist.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, it was more frazzled. It was a little like the Jon's first ride too, but again, Jon still had more control as well. Did you notice the score though? When he says, I forget what he said, but basically tells Vhagar to fly. So when he says,
that's what I said.
Oh, you already said that?
I think you misunderstood what I said.
I did. I totally did.
I said.
I thought you meant the scene reminded you of that. Okay.
No, I said the score. Yeah, I was like, we got the classic score with the twist, and then you kind of like with Jon riding Vhagar, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, bro, okay. Sure, whatever you say. Steve Martin was a prop comic. Yeah, misheard that. Yeah, so the iconic score, that was awesome.
Right. The
same
riding your dragon score, you know.
Mm-hmm. And the same rolling thing when she says Dracarys for the first time. The doo-doo-doo-doo, and then breaks down in that. Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But then once he lands, things and that was another addition. So in the books, it's only the 3 boys. They added in the girls.
Oh,
which,
okay.
You know, kind of makes him more, you know, makes us not like him more because he runs up and just punches a girl right in the face. I'm like, bro, come on, man! Like, and that was such a cool scene. You just ruined it.
Yeah, yeah. No, you just flipped us. You pulled a Kristen Cole on us. Those punches were violent too. The way they filmed it and the sound effects they put, it was almost a little much. Like Aemon threw a straight kick and he kicked Jacaerys back like 8 feet. It's like, is this Captain America straight kicking or is this an 8-year-old? Because like, I don't know about that one, but it was a vicious fight. My goodness, and the fact that they're children really added to that. Like, whew. Right.
And of course, we get what we've been waiting for. The classic nickname of Aemon. Aemon One Eye. Dude, that scar was gnarly.
Bro.
When you see it all stitched up later. Dude.
Yeah. Full on Chucky.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, he's just sitting there too, like fully aware and conscious. Like, bro, he just got a blade that just sliced through his face and then he got it stitched up and he's just chilling. Because either A, they gave him a lot of milk of the poppy, or B, that dude is just on cloud 9 because he just pulled Vhagar. So nothing can put him down at this point. Like he even says, don't mourn for me, mother. I may have lost an eye, but I gained a dragon, which one of the hardest lines. One of the hardest lines of the show so far. So like, oh my gosh. I don't know how to feel about this kid. He's such a badass, but I know I'm not going to like him.
Right.
Yeah, so we get this scene after he gets his eye cut off, and, you know, Alicent's there tending to it. Everybody's spilling in one at a time, freaking out. What happened? What's the meaning of this? And it's a huge parallel on the scene from season 1 of Game of Thrones after Arya and Nymeria kick Joffrey's ass. And then Cersei demands justice for her son's maiming that she says, even though it's like 2 bite marks on his arm. He could lose the arm. He's maimed, you know. She sounded a lot like Alicent, but Alicent actually had something to be freaking out about because, yeah, he just lost his eye. It's a pretty big deal. But, yeah, strong vibes of that scene right there. And just a classic vintage Game of Thrones scene right here, man.
Oof. I did like how when Viserys tries to call everyone out, you know, tries to figure out who spread these lies, you know, who told you? And Aemon is just like scared shitless. And Viserys says, your king demands it. And he just slowly looks over at Alicent.
Yeah,
and
just
Viserys
looking at
looks
her.
Over at her. And dude, just the tension that my heart was seriously racing in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, and you can tell, like, because there's so many people in the room. Like, there's way too many people that are witnessing this right now.
Yep.
And then he's obviously he goes, Aegon. And Aegon's like, me? Like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Me?
And then when he goes over, this is just how, like, no one respects Viserys. He just says, we know. Everyone knows. And it's just like, it's so true. Everyone knows. It's so obvious. Yeah. And I don't know how Viserys just, like, he knows that, like, if he admits it, things are going to go way worse than they already are. So he just has to, like, you know, he says, if anyone speaks of this again, you'll lose your tongue.
Right.
But it's like,
so he'd rather die than that to come out while he's alive. He would rather die before that happens because, yeah, think of the mess you're going to have once that becomes official compared to the mess you have now. But I felt bad, man. Again, 3rd episode in a row, feeling bad for Viserys because he is so undone right now. But nobody respects him. You know, he's yelling, your king demands it. Tell me now. You know, he's getting in their face. And he's not even really... I mean, he's intimidating Aegon a little bit, I guess. You know, Aegon kind of flinches. Mainly because there's an old, dying, full of leprosy old man yelling in your face from an inch away, probably. But yeah, bro, it's just tough. Like, his voice holds no weight anymore. And the fact that everybody in that room already knew the truth and he's making this big of a deal about it, you know, and everything, acting like this will never be spoken of again. I'm your king. I demand it. It's like, dude, nobody's taking you seriously right now, man. It's sad. It's a sad display right now. I kind of hate it. I hate seeing Viserys like this because I really like Viserys. Like, I really do. And it's depressing.
Yeah. Not a good reign.
No.
Too many Targaryens.
Huh?
Too many Targaryens in the world at once. Like,
yep. Gotta Thanos him. Bring in a Thanos. Wipe out half the Targaryens. But, dude, even Kristen Cole, which, God, I wanted to smack him in the face in this episode. Viserys is like, where the hell were you guys? Where were you guys during this? He's like, the prince was attacked by his cousins. He's like, I don't care. Where were you? And then immediately after he goes, the King's Guards never had to defend a prince from a prince. And first off, like, I doubt that's true. You're telling me a prince has never gotten in a fight with another prince? So you should probably check your Targaryen history there, bro.
Check the white book, bro.
Yeah, and check yourself. What are you doing? Like, you're talking back to back times to the king. Like, again, if that was any other king, bro, you would have lost your tongue. And you're just sitting there talking trash after you shouldn't even have that role in the first place. You should be dead or at the wall. And, oh my gosh, man. I just want to... And then Alicent makes the kind of jape about Laenor being gay, She says he's probably entertaining his young whatever. Yeah, and he laughs, and Sir Harold kind of gives him a look. But, yeah, his young squires. But just like, man, Kristen, at least he held off. So Alicent freaks out, the whole thing's going on, and Viserys focuses in on the rumors instead of the lost eye. He demands everybody to apologize, and he goes to leave, and Alicent says, that's insufficient. If the king won't act, the queen will. Sir Kristen, bring me Jacaerys Valerian's eye. Just like, oh my gosh. Lady. And I thought Kristen was going to do it. And then they're like, I totally thought, yeah. And then, Viserys is like, hold your blade or whatever. And she says, he has sworn to me. And it didn't click in my head at first. He says, to protect you, my queen. But he was kind of stepping forward when he said it. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. He's about to do this. Like, he's about to obey her. And then when I watched it on the second go, when I rewatched it today, I was like, oh, no, he wasn't doing that at all. He said, yes, I am, but to protect you, So the first time I watched it, I legit thought he was going to do it. I was like, wow, you scumbag.
But this is kind of like what I talked about last episode, where Alicent isn't like a true villain. And this was a great tie-in. Like, I really felt the connection between the young actress and Olivia Cook, who's playing her now, where she says, what have I done but what is expected of me? Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? Like, Rhaenyra has been getting to do whatever she wants. She has 3 bastard children, and she's been stuck in this life, having kids with Viserys, doing what she was made to do, basically told to do. And this is just like her breaking point, where she just, like, you're having all these bastards. You just took my son's eye out. Like, you're going to be the heir. And she just lost it. And, rage and anger took over, just feelings.
And she has shame at the end of it. So it was really an instance of just losing it. She just snapped, really. You
could tell she kind of felt bad when she dropped the sword and looked at her. She was like, oh, crap. Like, I went too far right here. This was not me.
And you're right. You are right. I really was just like, this psychotic, like, oh my goodness, get a hold of yourself, Viserys. You need to do something there. Like, I don't know. I was not a fan of her. But the more I like kind of thought about it today and stuff, and exactly what you just said, she has plenty of reasons to snap. It's not a Cersei thing where Cersei, she's doing horrible, evil things, and you're like, dude, I hope she dies. Like, I hope she dies. She's just a psycho who needs to be put out of power. That's not Alicent. It really isn't. And she has, put up with a lot of crap. I still am not on her side by any means.
Right.
But there are extenuating circumstances that kind of help you sympathize a little bit. I still think she was way out of line, but I get the causes of her snapping.
Yeah.
But I loved Rhaenyra's line. where she goes, it must have been exhausting, hiding under that cloak or whatever. And then she goes, now they see you how you really are. I was like, ooh, and that, you could tell that pissed Allison off too. Like, that's kind of what sent her over to actually stabbing her at that point. Like,
yeah.
But, and Damon just smirking in the background through this whole thing. Like, until Allison charged, Kristen runs up, and then Damon finally stepped in and checked Kristen, which was dope. And if you notice, when the camera zooms out after Rhaenyra gets cut, but Damon goes right up to Rhaenyra and is checking on her arm in front of everybody. So he actually showed. So him and Sir Harold was standing by Rhaenyra too, checking it. But yeah, it zooms out and Rhaenyra and Daemon and the Kingsguard are standing next to each other. So we get a zoomed out shot of a rough left on the left side is the blacks, right side is the greens kind of thing, where they were separated in the room, which was cool.
You could see Otto kind of standing behind Alicent a little bit, and then there was Corlys and Rhaenys over by Rhaenyra.
Yeah. So let's touch on that real quick. So the Valerians, we got the greens, we got the blacks. They're splitting into two sides. It's a civil war coming up. Where are they going to stand, do you think?
Right, and we even Rhaenyra says, when she's talking to Daemon, she says, "I need you against the greens." So this is our first mention of her actually saying it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to them, I feel like Corlys is more on Rhaenyra's side than Rhaenys is. I think Rhaenyra needs to let Rhaenys know the truth about her son. Let her know that, hey, he's still alive. He just didn't want this life. He couldn't handle being king consort and the succession. And so he's over in the Stepstones living the life he wanted to. And then Rhaenys can, forgive her and support her, Right. But until then, I feel like Rhaenyra won't tell her, though. She's not that type of person.
No.
She's too strong-willed and stubborn to really admit the truth to someone she doesn't really know that well.
Right. And Daemon as hell ain't.
Yeah. But I don't think Corlys and Otto get along very well. Mm-hmm. And I think it's their best option to just if Daemon's daughters are betrothed to Rhaenyra's children, and Lucerys by all means is next in line to inherit Driftmark, like he mentions to him, and he pulls the Jon Snow, I don't want it. Because that means everybody will be dead, which is kind of sad.
Heartbreaking, bro. Yeah.
But I don't understand that. That only means Corlys dies. Just Corlys dies, and then his dad would die too. That's right. So Corlys and his dad would have to die. Never mind.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know. His brother would still be alive. He'd be the king and everything. But yeah. He's got a heart though. Good to see.
Long story short, I feel like the Valerians' best option is to stick with Rhaenyra.
Yeah. Yep. So I agree. And Corlys has a history of backing Daemon too. They had the successful venture in the Stepstones, and Corlys backed him and even left the council to fight with Daemon. So he's got an allegiance to Daemon. It went well. He believes in Daemon because Rhaenys says to Corlys, she wanted to come home and he wouldn't let her. And talking about Laena wanting to come home to Driftmark. And Corlys goes, Daemon did what he thought was best. He's defending him. He didn't jump on it. And she goes, Daemon does whatever Daemon wants to, or whatever serves Daemon. But he's defending her, or him. Good Lord, sorry. But the other end of it is their grandchildren just got assaulted and almost killed by Aemon. He picked up a rock and was looking like he was ready to bash in anybody's head that came near. So their grandchildren just got beaten by Aemon. Aemon just stole their daughter's dragon out from under their family. They just lost Vhagar. So those two reasons right there, I don't think they have any love for Alicent. But yes, obviously Rhaenys has a lot of hard feelings towards Rhaenyra, which may cause drama and conflict. But Rhaenys and Corlys are already arguing, Corlys is like, it's so bad for a husband to want to get his wife the crown she deserved or whatever, and she's like, just stop, dude, this isn't about me. This is about your ambitions. Can we just stop acting like this is about me for once? And Corlys admits it. He's like, well, what is this short life if not to live for a legacy? And she goes, that may be what you live for, but it's not what I live for. And he just defeatedly drops in his seat, kind of realizing, oh, we're on totally different pages with this. Like, we are not on the same page. And he storms off after saying the classic line, history remembers names, not blood.
Right.
So they're kind of at an impasse. So I really don't know. Rhaenys is a wild card. I don't know the future of this relationship, but I definitely think Corlys at least is going to be on the Blacks.
So that scene in front of the fireplace with Rhaenys and Corlys. She even says, you won't give up this pursuit even for our children. Like, she just lost her daughter, and now their son is about to die in, what they think.
Right.
So she was really just calling him out, like, you're putting our kids at risk for your own, for your legacy, your dynasty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she wants to make, I forgot which one, Bela or Rhaena, heir to Driftmark. She wants it to pass to them because she knows that Rhaenyra's kids aren't her sons.
Right.
So there's another conflict to where, Rhaenys is not lined up with Rhaenyra or her children. So that's not good for allies for the Blacks.
No. Right. And she's still got a dragon. She's important, man. You need every dragon you can get now that the Greens have Vhagar. I mean, I know Rhaenys is older, so I don't know how well her dragon riding days are these days, but still
She's
important.
The most experienced.
Yeah, exactly. Good call.
We haven't seen it. The one time we saw her, we only saw a far away shot of her riding the dragon.
Right. So yeah, the Greens, real quick. So obviously, high towers and all that. Otto ends up coming in and basically tells Alicent, well, Alicent's super disappointed in herself. She's ripping herself. She goes, I know, I screwed up, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, yeah, no, that's all true. But you showed me that you have the determination to win this ugly game we play, 'cause she was like, that was ugly. I don't want to do that. He's like, we play an ugly game, which you said it, Otto. So Otto's like motivated by this. He's like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know my daughter had this in here, and her son just jacked Vhagar for our side. Like, we're good. We are in this. And like you said, he's like, the rogue Aemon was right. I forget how he says. Basically, like, he could have paid.
Winning Vhagar to her side is worth 1,000 times over.
Yes,
for an
eye.
And
he's right. Winning Vhagar to their side would have been worth losing a lot of people's lives as a whole, let alone just an eye. Like,
yes.
So yeah, that's just huge. And of course, Otto is back to kind of running things, and he tells her, I guarantee you and I will come out victorious from this. And it's scary, man, because I'm rooting for the Blacks, and Otto is a cunning son of a gun. So I don't like any time that man is plotting, because he knows what he is doing.
Right. And of course, we know in Game of Thrones history, it's not going to be easy. There's
no. And it sucks because I was so excited to see Vhagar, which I love it. But now Vhagar is fighting for the side that I'm not going to be rooting for.
Right.
So I don't know what to do. I don't want Vhagar to die. Like, she's dope. But I also don't want her wiping out Dreamfire and everybody else on the other side. So it's a bummer, man. I really wish Vhagar was on Team Black.
I teased that out last episode. I'm surprised you didn't pick up on that. When Lena died, I said, and now Vhagar is open for a certain someone. And
I know, I do remember you saying that, but I didn't. I was like, maybe it's her daughters, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah. And then obviously Kristen's on their side. You got Laura Strong, who is creepily staring at Alicent the entire funeral. Mm-hmm. Kristen's like, he hasn't stopped staring at you since you came here. Unabashedly. He's just staring. He doesn't even know who he is. He calls him Lionel's son.
So that's the thing. Alicent has her two closest advisors don't know about each other. Yeah. So she's like playing all these different sides, She needs to kind of bring things together. Let Loras and Cole in on the same thing so they know the whole plan. So they're not, working against each other.
Right. You're going to need to coordinate as much as you can because things are about to get ugly.
Right.
All right. So the last part of this is, Laenor, Rhaenyra, and Daemon. So Laenor comes in, man, it was sad. He says he hates the gods for making him gay, essentially, is what he says. And Rhaenyra is kind of like, because you're an honorable man with a good heart, and that's very rare. Like, you don't come by that, which is true. Everybody in this universe are scumbags. So Laenor is actually like kind of a good dude. So, she's not wrong about that. And he recommits himself to her. He's like, I haven't been there. I'm here for you. I'm going to be doing my part. And so Rhaenyra decides, okay, it's time to kill him.
And the death of his sister too is really taking a toll on him and making him kind of rethink everything he's done.
Yeah. Homie was just drunk, standing out in the ocean, staring down at the casket that was sinking. Like, he is not doing good. So yeah, it's kind of sad to see him. I liked him more this episode. I said last episode I wasn't a huge fan about the Laenor actor, but I liked him. He was good in this episode. So it was a bummer to see him die. Again, he's alive. But I didn't know that until today. Again, I definitely ended the episode yesterday thinking, all right, homeboy's dead. And that was the weirdest ending to an episode I've seen. But it was Laenor on the ship.
So you see the guy that Daemon choked out right before that. So at first you think he's just trying to help Carl get into the room. But that's the guy that is in the fireplace.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I did not put that stuff together.
Yeah, it took me a sec for sure.
But so most importantly, Rhaenyra decides that they need to marry. She needs to marry Daemon because she's going to need all the help she can get, like you said, going up against the Greens. So they obviously had a ton of stuff going on in here. They're talking about both of them lost their loved ones. They end up hooking up. Made a lot of progress between this beautiful uncle and niece relationship.
Why did she have to say uncle after?
Yeah, dude. She said that. Megan's like, that's her uncle? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's her uncle. Like,
yeah, it's her uncle. She just had to make it weird. And I know they're uncle and niece. It's messed up, obviously. But this is House of the Dragon. We knew this was coming. And, man, I've been wanting them to marry strictly for the case of that is a duo right there. Mm-hmm. Like, that is an absolute duo that I would not want to mess with. They're both savage, stubborn, headstrong, have dragons. Like, they're just fire and fire. And I can't wait to see Daemon actually getting emotionally invested and stepping in to defend Rhaenyra. Because now he can be public about it. He doesn't have to hide all this stuff. He can be very public about this. And the way they got married was awesome. So they did it old Valyrian, and I believe it was on Dragonstone. So they flew back to Dragonstone where Aegon first landed. And yeah, the old Valyrian rituals they were doing, like, looked pretty crazy.
The same way Aegon married his two sister wives.
Okay, see, that's so sick. Like,
And I guess in the books it said it's a 6-month time jump for the wedding. So they waited 6 months, but the realm still doesn't agree with this, and Viserys definitely is pissed about this. And I originally thought that they got married after he passed, but they do it before. I thought it was later, but they, went
in the
right
books.
To it. Yeah, I got it mixed up. I thought it was later because I didn't think she would be able to pull that off while Viserys was still alive, but she just does it kind of in secret where only their kids are witnessing, and they do not seem very happy. They're just like, what the hell is going on? Like,
right.
My mom's marrying her uncle, and,
Wait, the kids were there at this wedding? In the show?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Maybe I did briefly.
Yeah, there was the priest, and there was the 3 kids and the 2 daughters.
And the 2 daughters. Okay, well, at least he's being open about it to his daughters, at least. They may think it's a little weird, but at least he's not hiding it.
And I guess that means that they came with him to Dragonstone. I thought they would stay on Driftmark, but they're still with him.
Interesting. Okay. So 6-month time jump. At least they gave it a little bit of time,
There's a big time jump to the next episode. If you see everyone's grown up. It's like probably 3, 4, 5 years.
I was going to say maybe more. Aemon looks like he's 16 or something, and he's only,
10.
8, 10.
I think.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm thinking of just.
But he looks like 18 almost,
In the
new, and then
there's next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's another boy standing in front of them that looks like 12 years old almost. And I'm like, who the hell is this kid? So that must be Darren, Alicent's youngest son.
How did Viserys have another kid? Or was he already born by the episode we just watched?
I don't know.
Okay. How the hell did he have another kid?
How is he still alive?
How is there still that being produced in his body? He can't even produce hair. All right. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this marriage is taken in the show.
Right.
Seems like it's going to be the final act that kicks off this war. Because the whole thing at the beginning of this was whether or not Rhaenyra hooked up with Daemon that caused this strife between Alicent and caused this entire split. So now they're leaning into it. So you know it's going to kick off now.
The coupling.
The coupling. The infamous coupling.
There was a great line between when Rhaenyra and Daemon are talking, and she says, "Fire is such a strange power. Everything the House Targaryen possesses is owned to it. Fire is a prison. The sea offers an escape." You know, and she says, you know, we were meant to burn together, which was super cool to hear, you know.
Intense. Super intense. But again, man, talk about a power couple. I can't wait to see what they do. Like, it's just perfect. I did have some gripes with just kind of the show as a whole, man, with the time jumps. So seriously? I'm not even sure how big of a time jump it was going into this episode. It wasn't long, obviously.
I don't think it was at all, really. Yeah.
Okay, like maybe a week or something, just for them to all go to Driftmark.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just something that kind of clicked in my head today when I was thinking about it. And, you know, I get what they're doing, but, you know, I get it. We're going through this whole period, so you got to do time jumps and stuff. So I understand it, and I'm good with the mission. But it does come with some downsides to it, you know? One thing I was thinking of was schemes. Schemes and plot twists. So you think of Game of Thrones, their schemes and plot twists. And some of them were set up for like multiple seasons. Like some of Littlefinger's backstabbings and stuff was straight up 3 or 4 seasons long. Other ones just a season, you know, whatever the case is. But when it's that slow of a burn and then you get this huge plot twist where you're like, wait, what? You know, 3 seasons worth and it was all a trick. It's crazy.
Right.
Whereas this, you have these time jumps. And yes, in the story itself, they've had this, you know, con going for a long time. But to us, like, we get a plot twist from something that happened at the start of the very same episode kind of thing. Or, you know, even the marriage, you know, they marriage literally in the same episode. Larys comes up with the plot to kill his family and does it all in one episode. And I think that's the same episode we found out that Larys and Alicent had an alliance too. Like all that's happening in the same episode. So it kind of takes away from one of the key parts about a Game of Thrones show, which is the schemes and the political plot twists, because we don't get to actually see them forming and, you know, getting used to the thing that's actually a con. It just all happens in one episode, and so there's not that much of a shock and awe to it because there's not much buildup. So yeah, that's one of my issues with the time jumps with this show.
Yeah, it's almost like a season 8 pace. But it's the beginning of the story, so it's not as impactful as, you know, if the whole story was this slow, slow build, and then the final season's just way too fast.
Right.
I hope it kind of takes the opposite approach to where the first season has this super fast pace because they need to set up all this story.
Right.
And then, I mean, please God, for seasons 2, 3, and possibly 4. Like, just make it a normal show, like, you know, because I think they're jumping to 129 for this next episode. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So, and then the Dance of the Dragons is 129 to 131. So we should be right there to where season 2 kicks off, and then the next, the whole rest of the show is just a 2-year span, which is totally fine with me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm totally good with that. Like you said, I hope that's the case. Yeah, I hope this is the one season where it's doing this. But it's funny you say that thing about season 8. It's pretty ironic. So season 8 was what caused a lot of fans to go away from Game of Thrones because of the pacing. And the thing that's bringing back those same exact fans into this universe is a season that has the exact pacing as season 8. Obviously, it's different, but it's just it's a little ironic.
And we're getting attached to these actors and actresses, like young Alicent and young Rhaenyra, and then young Aemon and young Aegon. We're killing their roles.
Yeah.
Like, I loved seeing Aegon do any scene Aegon was in. You, like, were paying attention to everything he was doing. And then that scene with Aemon and Vhagar was amazing. And then him with the scar on his face and stuff, like, I want to see like what happens right after that. But now it's just how he has an eye patch, scars, all good.
Right. We're not even going to talk about that anymore, probably. So yeah, I get it, but it does come with some downsides. So
yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just want to throw out there real quick. So we talked about that dragon in the cave last episode that lit up the ceiling, and I was asking you what dragon that was. So apparently in the book, Aemon has a run-in with Dreamfire in the dragon pits. Like he goes down there, and pretty much that exact thing happens, but he gets denied, so he takes off out of the cave. So that could have been Dreamfire. But a cool little tidbit about Dreamfire. Huh? Is it not Dreamfire?
No, who is Dreamfire?
Oh, the dragon of homegirl, Helena. But also possibly isn't that the dragon we've been talking about? Dreamfire?
Right. I can't remember all the names.
Okay, yeah, I got you. So yeah, I think like you said, I think that's Helena's dragon.
Okay. So he was trying to steal her, or maybe she didn't have her yet, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know how it worked out in the books. I think maybe Aemon was just desperate and went into the dragon pits, and it kind of happened like the show. He went down there to see a dragon, and he got scared off. But anyway, a cool thing about Dreamfire is that the rumors through the books was that Dreamfire was the mother of the eggs that Daenerys Targaryen ends up getting gifted during her her wedding with Khal Drogo. So Dreamfire is possibly the mother of Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. Man, I always forget their names. But yeah, so that's kind of cool little tidbit. We might see Dragon's. Good Lord, we might see Drogon's mom.
Wow, maybe she lays 3. That'd be cool if we see she lays 3 eggs. A black and red, a green and gold, and a blue and that'd be cool. And then
that would be dope.
They get stashed away.
I'm down for that fan service. Well, all right, man. Let's hear your overall thoughts and your rating on the episode. Let's wrap it up. I'm losing the ability to speak, so let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great episode with, just the 2 parts that stood out to me most were obviously Aemon riding Vhagar, and then the aftermath of that and the scene in the Riftmark throne room was just so tense. Vintage thrones. Like I said, I was like anxiety attack while watching the episode or watching that scene almost.
Oh yeah.
So I have it rated at a 9.3.
Wow. Okay. 9.3.
I need to go back and rewatch episode 1 because there was a lot of hype that probably built that episode up,
Yeah, I thought about that today too.
But it was still a great introduction to the show. Like, with the prologue and everything, the vintage classic tournament that they had, and it was a great episode of television. But this was just like with knowing the characters more and just the development that's been going on, and just the tension between Rhaenyra and Alicent reaching its breaking point to where there's no point of return now. Like, they are not. Like, Viserys tries to make his one last effort to have them, reconcile and apologize, but it's not happening anymore.
No, that's over. All right, so 9.3. Again, we'll have to get the incredible Jeremy Dar's rating next time he comes in here. Yeah, man, it was a vintage Game of Thrones episode. Just like last episode, it's really getting that feel down again. Like you said, not only the anxiety but the discomfort in watching those scenes. Like, they really made you feel it, and they really did a good job of that. The family tension, infighting, all that done really well. As always, great acting and dialogue. It was just a really intriguing episode, and it really, like you said, it set the tone for everything that's coming up. And I like the style of it, the lighting, literally setting the tone for this episode, the way they did the lighting. I thought it was a creative style to it. So I thought it was a cool little thing Miguel did. So I didn't have a problem with it. And it set the stage for the Civil War, and the next episode is the first year of the Dance of the Dragon. So it did its job. It was a solid episode. I gave it an 8.8 out of 10. So that's my 3rd highest rating of the season. So, but like you said, I got to go back. Episode 1, I rated that a 9.1. It might have just been, we were just so stoked to have it back, and it was good. We were excited to have it back, and it was good. And so it was just like, 9 out of 10. But again, it was a good episode. We're just going to have to do a little rewatch. But the most important thing, who won the week for you, Caleb Culver? The Rings of Power or the House of the Dragon?
I got to give it to the Hot D.
Hot D. All right.
Like, because the same reasons why Rings of Power won last week were the emotions I was feeling during the episode. So this one, I mean, the creation of Mordor and Mount Doom was sick. But just that scene with Rhaenyra and Alicent takes the cake.
Okay. All right. Well, we flip-flopped. Last week I had House of the Dragon winning. This week I got Rings of Power. I said after the Rings of Power episode it was going to take a lot to beat it for me because it just was... It was amazing for me. And I know you said that was your favorite episode of Rings of Power too.
Right.
So I get it. It was close. And honestly, it's really hard to judge, especially these two episodes, because they were polar opposites, the type of episodes they were. Polar opposites.
Right,
So it's really hard to compare the two. But yeah, this would have had Vagar fighting Caraxes and Cyrax and probably like a battle at the end to beat out the Rings of Power episode for me. We do have a mail-in vote from Jeremy Darr, and he did vote for the Rings of Power. So unfortunately, you lose, Caleb.
Oh.
I hope you feel shame and rethink all of your decisions for the next 12 hours. No, I get it. I get it. I do get it. Just a great week of episodes, man. Can't wait to watch Andor tomorrow night. Yeah. Like, whew, hell of a time we're living in. All right, well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up tonight. Like I said, I'm losing it. We had to cover a lot tonight, so we're going to close it off for the night. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Caleb, thank you for joining me this evening. And as always, follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at whysosidiouspod. Give us some interactions. Give us some requests. We got your back. We'll cover it for you, all right? So you guys go out there and you have whatever kind of night you want to have.
So when Viserys was talking down Alicent, he totally told her, "It's not the Jedi way."